Hi wine friends, and happy Wine Wednesday. If you're new, I'm Allie from A Glass After Work. Thanks for joining. So today I want to talk all things sherry. We have definitely been drinking a lot more after dinner drinks since the start of the pandemic. I happen to be a huge sherry fan, and when one of the PR agents reached out and said that she was interested in sending me some sherry to pair with Halloween candy, I thought this was the perfect time to share some sherry with you guys. So in case you're not familiar with sherry, it is a fortified white wine from Andalusia, Spain. It's mostly made with the Palomino grape, but it's also sometimes made with the Pedro Ximénez grape, PX. And the sherries are aged in a very labor-intensive process called Solera, and it's a blending process that basically helps take the older sherries and the younger sherries and mix them and help create some consistency and creates some really beautiful wines. So I'm not going to be tasting the palest and driest of the sherries, the finos and the amontillados, but I am going to do an Oloroso. I'm going to do a cream wine, and often the Olorosos are the base of the cream sherries. And then I'm going to do a sweet one, a dolce, which is going to be just delicious. It's one of my favorites. So with that, why don't we check out the first sherry? So this one is by González Byass. It's the Alfonso Oloroso Seco. And this is 100% Palomino grape, which is to be expected. I'll give it a little pour. I don't want to pour too much because they are high in alcohol content. And so the Olorosos, as you can see, this has got a nice dark kind of caramel looking color, and they are have an oxidative aging process. So that helps, gives it some of that deep, beautiful golden caramel color. All right, so why don't we give it a sniff? Oh yeah, so lots of almonds and hazelnuts happening in there. So a bit of a hint of toffee, maybe some dried apricots. All right, let's give it a taste. Cheers. Yep, so definitely like liquid hazelnut, liquid almonds, just in my mouth. It's so, it's nice, it's dry, it's refreshing, it's got really good acidity. This is one of those wines, there's some leathery notes in there too. This is one of those sherries I think would be fantastic with a charcuterie board, some cheese, mixing those savory notes with those nutty notes, I think would be really nice. But it was suggested pairing it with Halloween candy, right? So why don't we give it that a shot? So one of the suggestions was to try it with a peanut butter cup. So we're gonna do that, but Butterfingers are among my favorite Halloween candies. So I thought I would also try to pair it with some Butterfingers. All right, so a Reese's peanut butter cup and the Oloroso sherry. I wanna do like a Reese's peanut butter cup. All right, let's give it a go. Ooh, the creaminess of the peanut butter cup and the peanutty flavors from the peanut butter cup really bring out the hazelnuts in the sherry, and the saltiness also is a nice kind of counterbalance to the acid. All right, let's check out that Butterfinger. Ooh. I might like it better with the Butterfinger. That's really nice. That saltiness and the creaminess goes really well with the nutty characteristics and that little bit of toffee flavor happening in the Oloroso. Definitely works for pairing both those candies. All right, next up is Harvey's Bristol Cream. And let's be honest, if you know sherries at all, you probably know Harvey's Bristol Cream. It's pretty well known. is not a cream, however, in that there's no dairy, there's no cream, there's no whole milk, like nothing like that. And it is served slightly chilled. That definitely will make it taste a little better. But as you can see, there is definitely no cream happening in that wine. And Harvey's usually runs about $16. It's usually pretty easy to find at your local liquor store or online, wine.com, someplace like that will definitely have it. And we're now getting on to a little bit of the sweeter side. So the Oloroso is dry. This is going to have a touch of sweetness to it and is got some beautiful dark color. And the cream, the cream sherries, they're going to be a blend. This is a blend of Fino sherry, Amontillado sherry, Oloroso sherry, and PX. So it's a blend of all four of those, although it's proprietary blend, so they don't tell you how much of each. All right. Oh, and you can smell a little bit of that sweetness, the kind of honey, hints of honey and toffee on the nose. A little bit of cinnamon happening as well, like warm sugar. Oh, it smells beautiful. All right, why don't we give it a taste? Cheers. This tastes like drinking a almond that's been covered in like the warm cinnamon sugar. It just, oh, that tastes so good. So maybe a little bit of like caramel apple in there. Definitely got a hint of fruitiness, some of that apple, like red delicious apple, but mixed in with that kind of caramel creaminess. So I thought, why don't we try this with a Baby Ruth? I thought that maybe the nougat and the caramel mixed in with a little bit of the nuts and the saltiness would go really well together. All right, ready? Cheers. Oh, that was beautiful together. This is what a pairing should be. Wow. It's like taking liquid fall in my glass and mixing it with a little bit of salty sweetness. Oh, that's really good. I definitely like this pairing better than the other two. The other two were good, but this is like it was made for each other. All right, we've got one more. Last up is the González Byass Nectar Ximénez. This is one of my all-time favorite sherries. Every time I do a wine tasting around the world and try to pick wines from different places in the world, I always finish up with this sherry because it is so delicious. Now, it is super sweet. Don is not a fan, but it is so delicious. Both this sherry and the other sherry from González Byass, it's a nice pull-off cork, nice and easy to use. And this is made with 100% Pedro Ximénez. As you can probably see, this is super, super dark, super, super dark, which is exactly what I want to see. This is about $32. When I first started drinking it, it was in the $20 range. It has gotten more expensive over the last 10 years. It is still worth every penny. And the thing about the sherries, right, just as a point, the Oloroso and the Harveys Bristol Cream, both of those can keep, I would say, 4 to 6 weeks or so. And the nectar, the Pedro Ximénez, it can probably keep for about a month or two. So you do have some time to drink it. I mean, obviously your pours are going to be a little smaller because the alcohol content is significantly higher, but you do have a little bit of time to drink it. All right, why don't we give it a sniff? Oh, it's like raisins and figs. Oh, I have a little bit of like almost like orange marmalade happening. Oh yeah, there's some honey and caramel in there. And there's definitely also a hint of that cinnamon that I was getting on the cream sherry too. Why don't we give it a taste? Cheers. This is like drinking liquid velvet. Admittedly, normally I think of taking the Pedro Ximénez and just pouring it over some like vanilla ice cream or something like that. Maybe pouring it over some pancakes if we were going to eat brunch. Like, it is definitely syrupy. It is absolutely delicious. No doubt that this is almost like drinking a dessert in and of itself, but we should try it with some candy. I picked putting it with a Kit Kat because I thought having the crunch of the Kit Kat might go well with the wine, but also the chocolatey notes will help bring out some of the flavors of the wine. So Kit Kat it is. Ooh, that's also really lovely. I'm not sure which pairing I liked better, the Kit Kat with the Pedro Ximénez or the Baby Ruth with the Harvey Bristol Cream, but wow, that is a fantastic pairing. It definitely brings out kind of the toffee chocolate notes in the Pedro Ximénez. Absolutely delicious. So I'd love to know, are you a sherry drinker? If you are, do you tend to go for the drier sherries, the sweeter sherries? How often do you open them? Let me know in the comments below. I would also love to know, what do you think of when you think of pairing wine and candy? Do you have any favorite pairing ideas? Maybe from testing out some of your own wine and candy combinations? Let me know that down in the comments below as well. One last thing I wanted to share, it was suggested that I try to let you know what wine I'm going to be reviewing next week. And next week, it is going to be Prayers of Sinners. It's a 2017 red blend from Washington State. And I think it's going to go really well with our Halloween chili and kind of doing all the Halloween festivities. So join me next week with a Prayers of Sinners. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate those. If you aren't already a subscriber, you can do that by clicking on the icon right here or on the subscribe button down below. But don't forget, also click on that bell because it will notify you when I upload a new video, which is going to be every Wine Wednesday. And thanks for joining. Happy Wine Wednesday. Cheers.